Hi, I'm Shan Thomas. I run the social media and marketing for Thomas the Baker. I don't actually work in the bakery, not since I was 17 or 18 anyway. But today we wanted to show you how you can make bread at home, similar to Thomas the Baker's bread. We're actually using the same flour. This is the Country Crunch flour, which is available in our stores to buy in 1 kilo bags at the moment. We wanted to give you an idea of how you can create your own loaf quickly and easily at home using just a few ingredients and just simple techniques. So first we need to activate the yeast. Today we're using fresh yeast, which looks like this, but you can also use dried yeast. You just need a smaller amount of it. So this you can buy in little sachets in the supermarket. For a kilo of flour you only need 7 grams, and that's what comes in a single sachet, so that's nice and easy. For either dried yeast or fresh yeast, you simply need to add it to warm water, which is just above body temperature, around body temperature, which is sort of 38 degrees Celsius. You need 400 mils of water, which I've already got in this bowl, and we're adding 225 mils of milk as well to this. You can also use sugar at this stage, which helps to activate the yeast better, but we're using milk because the fat and the sugars in the milk do the same thing, and it also gives the bread a nice crust. So you can either use 625 mils of water by itself with a spoonful of sugar in there, or you can use 400 mils of water, 225 mils of milk, and you'll get the same result. So you simply need to crumble your yeast into here. We will be adding salt to the recipe later, but make sure that you don't include it at this stage, as it can kill the yeast. Just watch what happens if you add salt directly to fresh yeast. Okay, so now that our yeast is activated, and you'll be able to tell because it starts bubbling on the surface, it takes sort of 5 to 10 minutes to activate. We're going to add the flour, the fat and the salt. So you saw what happened when the salt went directly onto the yeast, so that's why you need to add them all together. So we're putting in a kilo of flour. Next we're adding 50 grams of fat, so you can use lard, butter, oil. We're just using some baking butter here. And finally we're adding 15 grams of salt. Now you've got two options here to mix it. You can either use a mixer with a dough hook on it, which we're going to do because it's nice and easy and you don't weigh yourself out, or you can knead the dough by hand. Either way you want to spend about 12 minutes with it, either on the mixer or kneading by hand. This is a great time to get the kids involved. They love getting their hands into the dough and helping you knead it. So this is little Amelia. She's just turned a year old. Come on, like this, knead it. Knead. Probably better for the older kids. So now you've got your dough, you'll need to leave it to prove for a little while. So this takes around 2 hours. So you'll want to shape it into a nice ball, tucking it underneath like this, and pop that back into the bowl that you were using originally. So if you just put a little bit of oil in just to make sure that it doesn't stick while it's proving. So proving means rising, so it'll be, wants to be somewhere warm. So we've got a bit of oil in there, you see. Wants to be somewhere fairly warm. give it a chance to rise, and it should at least double in size over the next couple of hours. Pop that in. Bit of cling film over the top. And we're going to go and tuck that away for 2 hours and leave it to rise. So it's been a couple of hours and our dough has risen quite spectacularly, really, this one. So we're just going to remove the cling film. It's actually risen up high enough to get stuck on the cling film here. So you take that off, and this is the point where you want to knock it back. So this is sort of kneading it back into itself here. So you can see it just all drops back down into itself. And then you just want to give it a bit of a knead on a floured surface again here, just to bring it back together a bit. So this recipe has made enough for 2 loaves, or at least 2 tins, 2 small tins. So I'm going to split this in half and pop each half into its own tin. So I'm going to pop this into just lightly oiled loaf tin. So we're going to do the same with the other one, but we'll leave this one to prove for another couple of hours. That'll just rise back up a little bit, and then you'll pop that straight into the oven like that. So these are our 2 loaves, risen and ready to go into the oven. We've preheated the oven at 180 degrees, and these will go in for about 25 to 30 minutes. I just wanted to note that technically we haven't used the correct tins for these. We just wanted to show that you can use any tins that you've got at home. So these are ones that we had at home already for use for like lemon drizzle cakes and things like that. But these work perfectly for it. So we'll pop these into the oven. 25 to 30 minutes later, we should have our finished loaf of bread. So after half an hour in the oven and about an hour or so to cool, the bread is ready and it's time to slice it up. The recipe to make this bread is on the Thomas the Baker blog, which you can find a link for in the description below.
That's good bread.